by any account, I should have slit you open from scalp to stomach and watched you drain. You made me betray Orpheus, son of Gith, prince of the Githyanki. But you are Jacques von Findu. First, you inflict my wounds. Then, with burning breath, you close them. Last night will be forever branded into my memory. But now, I must think of future days. I am forever marked by Vlaakith. The Undying Queen's knights will chase me across Faerun till I draw my final breath. Our lives will be colored by blood red and death black. Are you ready for the battles to come? Yes! The skies will shake from the Red Dragon's screams. The ground will be soaked and spoiled wherever the Kithraki fall. We will not be their prey. They will be ours. Hells. Talk of battle set my heart beating all over again. Back to bed. I have more tricks to show you.
For 6 months, Lae'zel has been learning the ways of Faerun by your side as you traveled together far and wide. A letter, written in a frail hand, interrupted your adventures. An invitation to a gathering of former allies, those who stood with you against the Netherbrains 6 months ago. The location is familiar, and though the road for the world.
Thou wert called here, some from above, some below. For with thine bond, together thou hast kept the wheel of fate spinning when it threatened to halt. Though thou wert drawn far apart in the months after the collapse of the Absolute, tonight, fate renews thy bond once more. Thou shouldst take care to preserve it. It is a great weapon, wielded in the hand of good. Go. Know one another once more.
You made it. Lady Shah smiles on us. Starting to wonder if you'd show up. You can say that with a straight face after all the times I had to come to your aid. Oh, come here, will you? You feel a little more substantial than before. Less camping and scrounging off the land, I take it. I suppose I do, don't I? I'm glad you seem well. Trudy. I had no doubt, but I'm glad to hear you say it all the same. Must I? You presume a great deal. I'm joking. Of course I want to know. Tell me all. As am I. It's well deserved. And I dare anyone to argue otherwise. Hopefully, these meetups will become a regular occurrence. It's not that I miss the tadpoles, but at least it brought us together. Now we've got to make the extra effort ourselves. Don't remind me. Someone's always got somewhere else to be. But after all, we've faced down bigger threats than wrangling together a few social calendars. Don't be a stranger.
Ah, there you are.
Well, well. Look what the Tressim dragged in. Professor Gale Decarius of Blackstaff Academy, educator of the esteemed School of Illusion. A pleasure to remake your acquaintance. She did not. I'm delighted to report. I surrendered the crown of Carsus to her, as I told you I would. And in return, she cured me of the orb at last. Even now, I struggle to put the feelings into words. It was like exhaling for the first time after holding my breath for so very long. Of course, I haven't clarified with my students that the orb is no longer a threat. The legend of my explosive capabilities is an excellent means of controlling a classroom. Too good, if anything. I spend most of my time trying to convince them how much fun the study of magic can be. But it'd be easier to crack a smile on an intellect devourer than some of my pupils. Illusory magic has the power to confound the senses, to render the impossible into reality, and to allow expression of that most magical attribute of all, imagination. Unfortunately, in that respect, some of my apprentices seem to be rather lazy. Oh, they try their best, of course, when they can manage to stay awake. And what of you? What are you making of this newfound lease of life we earned? And I couldn't be happier for you. A fitting reward for the sacrifices you made in getting here. I've told my students plenty of tales about our escapades. You're something of a hero to them, you know? I'll be delighted to introduce you to my current cohort as a guest lecturer, perhaps. I'm sure they'd have plenty of questions for you. Well, I, for one, can't wait. And I say with some confidence, neither can they. Of course, you'll be most welcome to stay with me in my tower. It will give us plenty of time to catch up on your adventures. I'm very curious to know what you've been up to these past months. But I suspect the telling of that tale would keep you tied to me all evening. So, in the spirit of selflessness, I encourage you to mix and mingle for now, with time enough to come.
right. You. Hello. Yes, I'm certain it is. As for you, well, I've heard congratulations are in order. You helped Mr. Dicarios save Baldur's Gate from the Absolute, isn't that right? Well done. Despite my old friend's genius, he'd have blown himself up long ago if not for the help of friends like you and I. You ought to come visit myself and Gale when you're able, if you can extract yourself from what I'm sure are very important responsibilities. We'll send word by pigeon when we've need of you. I used to have a taste for them, but a great many things have changed in recent months. Ta-ta, darling. Have your associates...
Jacques von Fendu. I thought watching you slay Vlaakith's hunters in the cliffs of Sword's Teeth might be the month's pinnacle. But I was wrong. Being right here, with you, is an infinitely greater pleasure. Alas, I can only rest so long. I've got wind of a Githyanki outpost hidden deep in Chult, the last of Vlaakith's Sword Coast strongholds. I mean to slay every last Sarth and Kithrak, and I mean for you to join me. You always did have a great fire in your belly. I'm glad to be the one to keep it kindled. Now go, mingle while you can. That's the word, right? Mingle? I won't be far. Not tonight. Not ever. Love. Until I knew you, I thought the mere idea a joke. A weakness indulged only by lesser species. You proved me a fool. I am forever grateful. A taste I will never grow tired of.
So you made it! Now it really is a party. Well, look who decided to turn up. I wasn't sure our withered old friend could live up to his promise. But here we are. And you're looking more delicious than ever, if you don't mind me saying. Whatever you've been doing with your time, it clearly worked wonders. Love is a powerful tonic. And where better to celebrate our good fortune? An old haunt with old friends. I've taken a turn as an adventurer and hero. It turns out no one actually cares about murder as long as you murder the right people. And apparently I'm rather good at it. Let's not get carried away, darling. I'm still me. Perhaps more me than I've ever been. Hardly. Good people don't spend as much time lurking in the dark as I do. You know, it's funny. At first, I thought I was trapped by the shadows, cursed to live in them forever. But in time, I realized that darkness is as much a part of me as my fangs. This is only a curse as long as I refuse to embrace the shadows. So, I decided I would. I decided not to be defined by the choices other people made, by what other people did to me. My past may be done, but my present, my future, they're mine. This is who I am, in all my glory, for better and for worse. That being said, I haven't completely given up on returning to the sun. If the opportunity presented itself, well, I wouldn't say no. But until then, I am happy. We've had quite the journey, you and I. From the moment I first threatened you, I knew you were someone special. Someone to take on the world with. I will miss our time together. But then again, maybe this isn't goodbye. So much as it's, see you later, darling.
Oh, hello. Let me guess, you've got some suggestions about the music choice. You have no idea who I am, do you? I thought Withers might have set the stage a little. Milil. Though if the lack of song prayers is anything to go by, that name carries less weight than it used. Apologies. I think I got a mote. Carried away there. You're hardly to blame. You just want to change up the music, I wager. Suppose I'll get back to it.
There you are. I was hoping you'd make your way over.
This seems pretty rare.
Relief. Your projection holds. It took a dozen Gish's talents, a few stolen psi crystals, and 10 days of effort to conjure it. You can touch, taste, and talk. But your fleshy body is in limbo, the home of the mystical Githzerai. Once, the Githzerai were one with the Githyanki, until bloody civil war severed the Gith speech. The Githzerai god king, Menyar Ag-Gith, sent word through the cosmos. He knows of your rebellion. Should the Githzerai join you, you could vanquish.
What's the word on the rebellion? I presume you've cracked open more Kithraki heads than you could possibly count. Then you did keep count. I should have known. I'm afraid since we last met, my corpse count remains a paltry 0. Unless you count the boars I felled on ducal hunts. Rebuilding a city requires a politic mind. A sharp soldering blade, not some. Bargains must be made. Coin must change hands. Tongues must be held. Still, I make the decisions I see fit. The ones I think will restore the city to glory. I serve only Baldur's Gate, not a devil of the first hell.
I've had more than a few challenges, given the horns sprouting from... The people know me as one of the champions who saved their beloved city. They know the patriarchs, the aristocracy, the councils of Waterdeep and Arm. Their arms aren't so wide open. Still, there's no friction that can't be greased with a sly promise or a proposition. The jewel of the coast will shine ever bright, welcoming the weak and the weary from wherever they hail. We are building new housing, not just shanties, but homes where families can rest their heads, plant gardens. Amazing what can be done when Parliament and the Council pressure the upper city elites to open their coffers. I'm sure the Silver Shields can make do without a few more jeweled crowns. Disbanded, to be formed anew. I don't expect a soldier or street sweeper to see through the schemes of a tyrant like Gortash. But the city's lords and ladies were all too eager to abandon their oaths and bend the knee. Liara Porter is now Grand Duke of the Wilds, Sickle of Chult. Floric is now Grand Duke of the Crossing, the face of devotion. And I am Will Ravengard, Grand Duke of the Worm, Heart of the Gate. We will yet be four. Until such time and after, we will enact the will of the People's Parliament. Baldur's Gate is nothing without its citizens, both in the upper and lower. Our duty is to them. I've entrusted the fist to Floric. She commands the Flaming Fist with as brave a heart as ever, and delivered them nary a scolding. The likes of Gortash can bend people's minds with a few chosen words. Bane's Chosen primed the Fist for a war they weren't meant to win. He convinced them there was an assassin hiding in every shadow, that cruelty was the... With a few exceptions, Florix pardoned every last fist. I will not make them drink the poison of my own resentment. Like my father, she believes in the bow and the blade. But she's teaching the fist. Valor is found not in the wounds you inflict, but in the lives that you have bettered. May they all take it to heart. Of course. I've missed you too. The rush of battles we... If I had to do it all over again, and I'd rather not, to be clear. I can't imagine not having you at my side. Go on, the night's young. Or waste a single drop of wine for that matter. I plan on downing half a bottle myself. Oops, did I say half a bottle? I meant half a dozen.
Thou feelst it still. She is not here. She who was the boldest. Hast thy thoughts been with brave Karlach often? Correct. Not in planes material, elemental, nor transitive can her like be found. In but 10 days, an entire life was lived. More than mortal years. Mortal centuries were hers. Thy band, thy bond, gave that life to her. Not like thou wert her kin. It was written in her heart. Surely thou knowest that. In the fugue plane, her soul burns so bright, it pains the gods to look upon. Recall that in time, all changeth and all is rejoined. Thou shalt be with her again. What indeed? Prick up thy ear. The balance of the world restored. The balance of these lives, mortal and otherwise, brought to account. Hear me, thou heroes, wastrels, friends. I have waited long to tell you these words. It is over. For now. Thou played thy part in weaving the fabric of fate itself, but for every thread you sewed, so did the gods unravel another. Sleep, rest, revel, but be ready, for thou mayst yet be needed. Until we meet again, I wish thee every possible fortune, health, wealth, love, and above all, problems worth solving. To you.